I am sick and tired of having to explain myself when it comes to these moves. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Jagoda, sports chiropractor and Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and I've been training for over 14 years. And I believe at this point in my career, it is absolutely my job to talk about these injuries and not only talk about them, but what can we do about them to make them less of an occurrence. Now, I understand people are gonna have their own opinions and things like that, but the reason I'm talking about this is because I have a little bit of a story. Recently, I was at open mat and I was training, I was playing bottom, and I was letting this person attack me repeatedly. After I let them attack me, I was practicing my defense, and then I just tech standed up. As soon as I tech standed up, guess what they did? The worst move you can do in jiu-jitsu to somebody, which was a scissor takedown. Now, if you know anything about a scissor takedown, you'll know that it is banned in jiu-jitsu, or actually in most sports it's banned, but in jiu-jitsu there is some legality to it depending on what tournament you're actually entered. But in wrestling and in judo, it is completely banned, and it should be entirely banned in jiu-jitsu as well. Not to mention, this person was not a person who trains at the school that I'm at. So you're going into somebody's space, you're going to their open mat, and immediately you are throwing a flying scissor takedown. This is going to likely rupture somebody's ACL, MCL, meniscus, and you can even have what they call tibial plateau fractures that can require surgical intervention, not to mention hardware that may need to go into that. If you do this to somebody, you can literally take them off the mats potentially forever and guarantee that they're going to be likely off the mat for at least 10 to 12 months, as ACL rehab takes approximately that much time. Even to an elite athlete, they might get back on the mats in 10 or 12 months. And I have rehabbed some of my professional athletes, and I've seen them have complications for years upon end, and now they have post-traumatic arthritic changes and other issues. So if you find somebody in your gym that is constantly doing a scissor takedown, get rid of them. Just walk away. Don't even deal with them. Just put them in their place, get them out of your gym, and never allow them to come back, or really sit them down. And I talk about this more specifically because this just happened to me. And realistically, I saw it coming, I sprawled out, but guess what? Because I had to sprawl, and because this person was trying to attack me, they kind of came in this position, and I saw it coming. What I did is I sprawled very aggressively because I do not want to be in that position, but I hit the bottom of my jaw onto her knee, and I had my entire bell rung, and I felt like I had a little bit of a mild concussion right there on the spot. It was a pretty upsetting situation, and at the end of the day, if somebody is willing to take you out off of the mat, it is a very, very big problem. And what you really need to do is not only have words with them, but you need to have words with the owner and instructors. Now, I'm not saying you need a mat enforcer or something like that, but you really do need to have somebody who can actually enforce the rules and tell you that this is going to be a bad situation, because the scissor takedown is the worst takedown in jiu-jitsu that is still legal. And I personally believe that in every academy that you should ban it for recreational athletes. Now, if you're trying to be a pro athlete, okay, I get it. Like, it may be illegal in certain competitions, but it should be banned in the training room for recreational athletes. And if anybody does it to you, you should really consider avoiding that person forever. And you should really consider having you speak with the person running the class, running the gym, or both, because that person really needs to be put in their place. And if somebody is going to go ahead and be mean and ruthless and take you off the mats, they're not somebody you want to train with. Another thing I see in the training rooms that absolutely needs to stop is jumping guard. You know, I understand people can pull guard, you can pull guard kind of aggressively. There are things to do, but jumping guard, especially in that combat stance, has the risk for dislocating patellas, your knees, hyperextending them, and causing ACL, PCLs, meniscus tears as well. So if you dislocate that knee and it is a pretty nasty injury, you are not coming back very quickly. And this can completely be avoided. Now, I'm not saying don't do takedowns. Like, you know, obviously there are more levels of injury when we do takedowns, but if you're jumping guard, you are really, really risking someone's livelihood. And again, all these injuries come back to staying on the mats. And if you're jumping guard or doing high level flying submissions, flying submissions are really just not that high percentage, generally speaking. And if you are going to do a flying submission, you can kind of make it playful and you can do it from a combat stance or a knees, but jumping guard from full standing is just going to likely risk somebody's knees getting injured, and you're not going to be back on the mats anytime soon. Another big one that I see, not just in the dojo or in the training room, but also professionally, is going to be slams. You know, you typically see slams at ADCC, you typically see slams at Fight to Wins and all these other competitions, but you also see slams in white belts. Another story, I was coaching a guy who I was training with who was a white belt, and he had him in a triangle, locked it down, the guy stood up, and everybody there was screaming, "Do not slam, do not slam, do not slam." Guess what the guy did? He slammed him. Now, sometimes we can slam people on the mats and that's pretty aggressive as well, but sometimes it gets taken off the mats and onto the gym floor or onto the tables. And that is where you can risk even further injury. You never know. There could be a scissor there could be pens, there could be things that can impale somebody. But at the end of the day, slamming is just illegal. It really risks a lot of traumatic brain injury, concussions, and neck pain. And I have seen people have chronic migraines as well as neck pain for months on end due to being slammed. And I can tell you, as somebody who's hit the back of their head on the ice after snowboarding, I'm telling you, you will have headaches for a long duration of time. And there is something called second impact syndrome, or basically saying that once you have a concussion, it is more likely for you to have more concussions later in life. So this accumulation of concussions over time is what leads to more traumatic brain injuries and what leads to more aggressive concussions and more further deficits down in the road. So when you have jiu-jitsu people slamming each other, throwing flying triangles and jumping guard and allowing scissor takedowns, what are you saying to yourself in the gym, and what are you allowing your students to do? This is just not safe. It is not effective. It's not good for staying on the mats long term. If you want to get good at jiu-jitsu, guess what you need to do? You need to stay on the mats and you need to practice. Of course, injuries are going to happen. Sometimes it's inevitable. Sometimes this happens inadvertently or by accident. But if you have somebody coming into your gym and doing these things, one of these three, one of these four things, or all of them, you need to get rid of that person. And the jiu-jitsu place that you are at needs to set a better standard and a better culture. Again, I know this is something you already probably know and already talk about. However, I just need to bring it up because it just happened to me 2 weeks ago. It just happened to me. And if it's happened to me, and if it's happening to me being a black belt 14 years, I can guarantee you it's happening at other schools, and I can guarantee that it's happening at other places. And I can tell you also, I have talked to other black belts, and I'm going to tell you a little story. They even said this: if you take me out, he's going to make sure that he takes you out as well. So, you know, if you're injuring somebody's livelihood, for somebody like me, I am a person who has to be physically active for my job. This person was a professional jiu-jitsu instructor and has a gym. If you're taking them off the mats and taking their livelihood away, you better be willing to pay the price, because they are likely going to come after you as well. So again, guys, just have fun, stay on the mats, train jiu-jitsu, and be healthy, be active. The most important is to be healthy, be active, and stay on the mats. There is no point and no place for any of these illegal moves. So guys, let me know if your gym is doing this. Please DM me, shoot me a message, leave a comment below. I'd love to learn a little bit more about what is going on in your gym and what's going around the community so I can see you guys. Stay healthy. See you later.